Good morning. This is the crypto day morning with today's date coming in that of Friday. Happy weekend, the 15th of March 2019. My name is Derek, all bets trades, and of course, of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Within Bitcoin, yesterday's day, a little interesting to say the least, and I'm just noticing this now, even though it's almost 24 hours ago, past tense. Price action today has managed to stay and hold above the previous 3 days of closes area. It's at the current 18 average of highs. And just something interesting that I'm just looking at now. Say, for example, I got this highlighted a bit. I just maybe right click where this dot is. I can add alert on 18 weighted moving average of lows. So if it's crossing, I could say move down percentage or crossing greater than or less than. I don't know if I don't know if you can take. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just thinking if you could have it set up so it's down, say 2%, lower than this. I want that. Something in that kind of nature. But the whole point of this is it's got to break either one, of course, to make its play. And well, now the attempt is to try to break above this. In doing so, we'd be looking for another test of 4100. And if it does so, it would happen after the last one would be completing a correctionary cycle, at least in looking in hindsight or looking at the fact then for that, because when you have your price move, as long as it doesn't fail the 18, and right now it's exceeding it, then that's a successful correction. On the single hour term time frame, this is that move that I'm going to talk about. But before that, just in this previous hour in here, first off, we have this green candle at 5 o'clock in the morning, New York City, Miami, Florida time. And it comes up to the 18 average of highs. It barely extends it on the 6 hour, coming back. Great hour, the last one, which is brought it up to the 18 highs on the daily. A little bit of a pullback and just hanging in there within this move. So we'll see if something gets sparked amongst that. But within this hour, if I just go to even the 5 minute time frame and scroll back to yesterday, 10 o'clock, again, I would have done my video probably somewhere in here beforehand. I usually get it done around 9:30. Right now it's 8:55. So yeah, that's what happened. It went up and it went down. If I did see it, my memory's getting bad because I don't remember seeing that at all. But I really wasn't even checking because if anything, I would have just been checking the price and been like, okay, around that, nothing's going on. And that makes sense now, so I think my memory's fine. Moving on to Litecoin, as this thing is going up big. I last bought this at 144. And now we're looking at yet another 15% move, and I'm referring to this thing as DGB because I'm only a couple percent, 3% away from my target level where I would will be selling Litecoin and accumulating DGB. But within today's session, I like how against Bitcoin, and it's obviously doing a little bit better against the US dollar considering Bitcoin's barely up right now. But a few days and grinding and rising within this 18 average of highs on the daily term, and also here 5 o'clock is when it pretty much got going, and all this stuff outperforming that of Bitcoin. We can see making its breakout already in the early session. Now, as far as DGB is concerned, yeah, it's had a little bit of a decline, so that's where the 15% move would come in, but it's still nicely above the 18 average of the highs, and this is still a previous area at 303. That will be, I think, a really, really big area. That's where the 18 average of highs on the weekly is starting to rise, but I'm not going to cover any more on that. Let's focus on a coin I haven't talked about in a little bit. That's the no limit coin. And I'm going to start off with the weekly, which was even over 1,000 before this started, as this debuted on that of, on the exchange of Bittrex. It's been in a downtrend continuously, been going sideways ever since. This is a case use coin, but I'm not too sure where I'm going to be heading on from here. A couple things I'm not too happy with in this coin, but it's still a lot of time moving on to March 28th. Why March 28th? Well, a couple of reasons, and not really based on price action. Although that's I got these lines in because I'm selling here, buying here as my next trade, and I'll just keep on rising that as need be. On the daily term time frame, this has had some interesting moves as it goes way up, way down, way up. It's been going way down. If it makes this higher or low, that's all fine and dandy, awesome. But the fact that it makes these moves up and down is what makes this very profitable to swing trade back and forth. But if this continuously goes in a declining fashion, that profitability will not be that. So a couple of things that I find of a little bit of concern. A few weeks ago, I ended up promoting, talking about, I think that's a better word, the fantasy game, which for fantasy basketball, they had two games at the time. One for 500 chips, which is, we'll say at $1 a coin, or penny a coin rather. That 100 chip game would be $1, and the 500 chip game would be $5. Well, about a couple of days after I started talking about making a basketball lineup on there, they eliminated completely the 1,000 game, or 100 unit game rather, which would normally have had about 70 people play. And they kept the 500 game, but they reduced the prize pool marginally, which I didn't care about that because I thought it was way too high as it was. I'm really frustrated that sites like the big guys like DraftKings put like 20% rake, and they were putting like 5% rake, and they were having overlay. They still are on the one game, but I wasn't too pleased. I would have been like, okay, instead of having 100 entrants, maybe reduce it to 80, but that was their choice, of course. They're the ones that are the owners of that site. And also, they state that it's 4% for staking them on the wallet. And just going over some numbers, I had about 59,456 on March the 2nd at dinner time, and I've gained 46 of the coins, which is better than nothing because I got coins on my Trezor that gain 0%. And it's been 12 and a half days since March to dinner time, and if I take the number, oh, it's even higher than that, of 59,456, well, yeah, it's even higher than that. And I multiply it by 0.04. That's 2378. So what I'm doing is I am seeing how much I should be making approximately in 12 and a half days. I know compounding interest doesn't change it too much doing it this way. If I take 59,456 multiply 0.04, I get 2378, but it's been 12 and a half days since I should have got it, so 12 and a half divided by 365 is 4% of a year, I think. 3.4% of a year. And then I multiply that by what I should be making, which is 2378. So I should have gained somewhere in the area of 80. But I've managed to get about 46. So I'm a little concerned that, I mean, I don't know how, every so often I just get what seems to be a random amount. And a random amount of times I get them as well. As maybe one day I might get a very small amount, and then maybe a couple hours later I might get a small amount or a medium amount, and then I might go a couple of days where I'm like, why am I not really getting any? And then get an okay amount here and there. I don't understand how they're calculated, but again, it's better than nothing. But March 28th, we'll see, well, how much am I going to make over the next 13 days, so I'll have a better timeline again. And also, that's the start of the Major League Baseball season. And I don't really like playing fantasy basketball too much. I really, really don't. I would have to think it's the worst fantasy game of the 4 North American ones. Major League Baseball is very simple, very easy to do, and I don't have to rely on late-minute information. So therefore, I'm going to just wait and see what happens on March the 28th. If I'm satisfied within the game, I'm going to just keep trading this as go. If not, I'm going to have to come up with some sort of strategy. And a couple other coins I've been talking about. First, Komodo. It's holding in there very well within the 18 average of highs. A nice little move in here, back down. But on the weekly and monthly, this is where I get really, well, mainly the weekly. This is where I'm getting really excited about this. As the market goes down like this, you have this sideways move, barely starting to go higher. It has this week broken out above this previous level of resistance in here, back down to this 18, but starting to rise again from that point. It hasn't had a test of the 18 lows, and I don't think it's required by any means, but if it does, that tells me that it's got a long ways to go to even say that this move is a failed breakout, because I'm looking for failure amongst the 18 of that, the lowest price, to be where the failed move would be justified from. Right now, this is showing me breakout state. Let's move this on to Vercoin, which is pretty much the same sort of pattern. As on its weekly, we have the down move starting to go sideways. I like how it's had this high above here. Nice little green period right now on its weekly term. So trying to revert this trend, get this thing in a nice bullish run. Same thing with the 18 average of lows as I was referring to within Komodo. On the daily term time frame, you have this little big move. It comes back to where it came from for many days within this little nice move here as well. Then this spectacular move on February 17th, spending a few weeks rather even. It comes down to it immediately. That's what these markets, this is what this market does. It has a big gain and an immediate quick move down. And we'll see that even further on the shorter term time frame. But we have this move on February 17th, and it really stays in a correctionary mode until March 11th. So that's 11 plus 11 is 22. That's about 3 weeks of going sideways, and then now breaking out, showing a lot of support and amongst the 18 average of highs, which is starting to rise, just like the daily or just like the weekly time frame. This 18 average of lows is what key support would be. I like to. It's rising up to this previous level here, so holding around 12.1 and even deeper into 11.7 area, I think is still very, very important. And what I mean by the shorter term, we can see in here just a couple of nights ago, or the previous night, it goes up, quick move down, big move up, quick move down, big move up here, quick move down. That's very, very normal within the Vercoin, which makes sell orders very important. And then, hey, go for a big break. Literally wait for it to come back to where it comes from, and you might not have to wait long. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.